working on a Hobart stand-up cooler. This thing's making some funny noises. Look at this thing. This thing is from 1998. It's never been serviced refrigeration-wise. Still has process ports that are sealed off. That's awesome. The noise that I'm hearing is the condenser fan motor blade kind of wobbling. When I hold it, it stops. And so the complaint is that the box isn't cooling. So it looks like we might finally have to put some service ports on here. See the hot gas condensate drain heater down there. It really doesn't look too corroded. 1998 is the serial number. That's freaking awesome. Before I access anything, I pulled, just kind of doing a visual. I mean, everything's running. Seems like it's okay, but it's just not getting cold enough. So before I put service ports on this guy, I'm just going to do a quick leak check, because it sounds like it's low on charge the way that it's running. And what I notice is, let's see if I can duplicate it, down here in the condensate drain pan is where I'm picking up a leak. It's going to make a fool of me again. Down in this area is where I was picking it up. So I'm not picking up a trace of a leak with the electronic, but I'm going to go ahead and put service ports on this guy because it's just not coming down to temperature and the compressor's running. I've done everything I can. I'm going to have to weld on, so I'm going to use my pinch-off tool. I use the vice grip style pinch-off tool, and then I'm going to braze on a service fitting on that process port right there coming off the liquid dryer and that process port coming off the compressor. So I sanded it, we've got the pinch off tool on it, so now I'm going to cut it and then we'll braze on a fitting and then release the refrigerant into it by opening up the vice grips. So I just brazed it on. You can see my pinch point right there, and then I just hit it with some channel locks and just kind of crimp it the opposite direction to let pressure through. And then I'm going to bleed the Schrader, try to bleed the air out of the system. This thing doesn't look like it has much gas in it at all. So after all that, this guy ended up being completely out of refrigerant. And what a pain in the ass it was to get that one welded. So, which is kind of how it goes sometimes. So I've got it pressurized with nitrogen right now. We're going to try to find the leak. Okay, we're doing a leak check. It's down in the hot gas condensate drain pan heater. Alright, so I pulled the condenser fan motor out, and the leak's back in here. You can actually hear it, and I can feel it with my fingers. It's on the hot gas condensate heater. And I actually talked to the customer. They don't want to fix it because I told them I'll change that condensate heater. I'll make a new one. I'll put new capillary tubes on it, change the dryer, and put a new condenser fan motor and blade. But it's not worth it to them. They'd rather buy a new Region. It sucks though, man. You can't. The one that they'd replace this with isn't going to last half as long. And this one's from '98. Bummer. But it is what it is. So a little recap, we had a service call on a 2-door stand-up Hobart Region that wasn't keeping temperature. When I arrived, I found that everything on the unit was running, but nothing was getting cold. Found that the system was actually out of refrigerant. I ended up having to put service ports on the unit. Confirmed that. Went ahead and pressurized the unit with nitrogen, found a major leak in the hot gas condensate drain pan heater. Went ahead and talked to the customer, and they opted to go ahead and replace the box. They decided that it wasn't worth the repair to them. What I was going to do though, I was going to replace the drain pan heater, the condenser fan motor and blade, put a new dryer on it, change the capillary tube, and then recharge it. But the customer just decided, since the box was 20 years old,
They just wanted to go ahead and call it quits, and they're going to buy a new box. So that's where we left that one. It's kind of a bummer because the customer really can't buy anything these days that's going to last as long as that box. And it's actually kind of sad because, you know, the boxes from the previous, you know, I should say the boxes that were made in the 70s lasted even longer. You know, this one was made in the 90s. Every decade that they make them, basically, you know, they don't last as long, you know, as metals get cheaper and all that good stuff. We kind of do it to ourselves, you know, kind of like the Amazon effect. We like everything cheaper. We want it more convenient, faster, that kind of stuff. And when you do that, the quality goes down. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching my videos, guys. I really appreciate it. As usual, subscribe to my channel if you like my content. Leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Take a look at the show notes of each video. There's all kinds of important information in there. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.